Now, if you arrived in Kenya from another planet this week, you would have been forgiven to think that this is the home of the most vibrant political parties on planet Earth. You would easily have imagined that this is a land where parties have solid membership and complete with fierce competition on clear ideological platforms each election cycle. In fact, you would have applauded Kenyans for embracing multi-partyism with such gusto and parading themselves proudly for their beloved parties. But you would be so terribly mistaken. I'm talking about the jamboree that has been the season of the National Delegate Conventions, now with that important sounding acronym NDCs. Almost every day we have seen some party or other come to life almost from nowhere, including some we didn't even know existed and others which we thought had long died. But it is that season. They all come out from their cocoons where they've been hibernating since the last harvest season. I speak about this with a heavy heart because I am a staunch supporter of multi-partyism, and I believe in a free marketplace of ideas where the best idea carries the day. But I bring it up because I have a wish today. Several wishes, actually. I wish our parties were this vibrant all year round. I wish they would be alive in and out of season. I wish the ones who don't make it to government would be this strident in keeping the government of the day in check. Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, where have all these parties been? What have they been doing since 2017? Where have they been when Kenyans were sleeping hungry and dying of preventable diseases? Where were they when cancer patients couldn't get life-saving treatment and dialysis for kidney patients slipped out of reach for those who needed it the most? Where were they when our debt was ballooning and our cost of living going through the roof? Where were they when thieves were raiding our national coffers for personal gain and the stench of corruption rose to the high heavens? You see, every political party can, or shall I say should, only be one of two things. Either it is in government or it is a government in waiting. If it is in government, it governs, which means we give it credit for what has gone right and blame it for everything that has gone wrong. If it is not in government, we judge it by how much it held the government's feet to the fire, by how much it interrogated government policies and made the necessary noise, by how much it provided an alternative idea to what the government of the day had placed on the table. In other words, if you're not in government, you're giving us a reason why we should have put you in government in the first place instead of those who are there. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how this system was designed to work, and it cannot work any other way. And by the way, isn't it puzzling that all these parties somehow managed to fill up the fairly spacious arena at the Bomas of Kenya? Is it possible that these delegates could just be the same fellows filing through a revolving door and turning right back when the next party calls its National Delegates Convention? No wonder a friend of mine called it the National Delegates Choreography. I wonder how many T-shirts and caps they may be keeping in their closets right now. Also, why do I get the feeling that most of these meetings are merely aimed at rubber stamping what their party leaders want? Is it plausible that DAPK delegates, for instance, would make a different decision from what their leader Wafula Amonyinnyi wants or what the defense CS Eugene Wamalwa has in mind? Is it conceivable that ODM delegates would meet on Saturday and disagree with the wishes of their party leader Raila Odinga? Can anyone imagine that UDA delegates would come to town and ask Deputy President William Ruto to drop his presidential ambition, for example? Or do you really think that Jubilee delegates might, for instance, come to town and ask President Kenyatta to reconsider his stand and support his deputy for president? And you can ask that same question of literally every party in this country. But I will assume the best case scenario and give everybody the benefit of doubt. I will assume that each of these parties has such deep roots in every corner of this country. I will assume that each one of them had their delegate elected down there by Wanjiku and sent to Nairobi to pronounce her wishes. I will assume that from here on we will have such a lively political party system, complete with clear manifestos that tell the parties apart. That is my angle for the week.